to this lovely morning, and this is our week 2 of our Pilates practice. This week we're going to do a little bit more focus on our shoulder work. Okay, so just looking at some range of movement there, but also a little bit of work on the spine mobility. Okay, so it's a slightly different class, not necessarily fully classical Pilates, but a bit of contemporary work in here as well. All right, so we'll go ahead with our feet in parallel, hands down by your sides. And reach his fingertips towards the floor, just gently easing those down and shoulder blades back and down as well. Just start to fire up a little bit around the back of the posterior chain of your muscles there. A little bit of a sense of bounce weight into the heels, gently easing into the heels. Okay, maybe a small hello to the glutes, but not a big squeeze or anything, but just a mental note that they are there and active and supporting you from falling forwards or hinging forwards. Okay, so breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you breathe in, allowing yourself to grow through the crown of the head, nice and tall, lifting every vertebrae, finding space between the vertebrae, that soft tissue just lengthening as you inhale. Try and maintain that height, so hold in that height, and then as you then breathe in, as you exhale, you can start to think about that drawing in of the belly to spine. Okay, so imagine yourself just stretching like a slinky towards the ceiling as you inhale. Maintain that openness of the spine, and as you exhale, allow the muscles to then just start to hug around that slightly opened up slinky as the air leaves the body. Finding for me your pelvic floor area, so underneath the pelvis, a lovely set of muscles, quite a plethora of muscles in this pelvic area, obviously. But thinking about the areas around back and front passages, thinking there's almost like two little drawstring bags. Okay, just for visual sake, you're just going to try and engage and draw up those drawstring bags as you exhale. So reminding yourself for those lovely visuals, you're breathing in and growing the spine like a slinky towards the ceiling as you exhale, hugging around that slinky with this midsection and drawing up the pelvic floors underneath you. Let's do that 2 more times, breathing in. And exhale. One final time, breathing in, find that space and activate your core and your pelvic floor area. And open your eyes and bring yourselves back into the room. Wonderful. Okay, so we are going to be high kneeling to start off with. Okay, if you find that super uncomfortable on your knees, you're more than welcome to do all these next pieces in a standing position. Okay, whenever you want. If you are kneeling and you want to put a cushion under your knees, then go ahead and pop 2 cushions under both knees. We're going to be inactive in the knee joint itself, so just using them there as cushioning will be fine. Okay, so we're starting off with these elbows just tucked in by your sides. So they're not just hanging down by the sides, but you're thinking of drawing them slightly back and into the waist. And with that, the shoulder blades slightly curving back and down as well, parking these elbows neat and tidy around the lower part of your ribs and back there. Okay, so palms are facing up, fingers together, and thumbs tucked in slightly, just a small point. All right, I'd like to take a breath in and then exhale and send your arms forwards towards me, gently easing those arms away from the shoulder joint and then back in with a breath in. Breathing in, exhale, send the fingertips towards me and pull that belly to spine. Okay, so as the hands are coming forwards, almost the opposite direction, that belly is reversing back into the spine. Okay, I'm turning just so you can see, breathing in and exhale as you send the arms forward. One more time, breathing in. And exhale as you send the arms forward and pausing with the elbows by your side. Okay, so just going to add on here with a breath in, we'll start and exhale, sending the arms forward. Pause here with the arms forward. Breathe in, exhale now and open the arms to the sides, just reaching those arms to the side and just pull the shoulder blades together. We're not looking for any back extension at all, so the shoulder blades are just drawing together. And then bring your arms to center and back in by your sides. Breathing in, exhale, arms come forward. Pause here, breathe in, exhale, arms open to the side, squeeze the shoulder blades together down this middle section of your spine, upper spine. We've got 2 more, breathing in, exhale, pause, breathe in, exhale, arms wide, and to center. Last time, breathing in, and pause with the arms wide this time for me, pausing with the arms here, elbows, shoulder blades slightly in together, lifting your gaze ever so slightly, just lift up and over. Feel the stretch of the belly space, perhaps through the front of the abdomen there, and even the front of the ribs. Not necessarily throwing the head back though, please. And then looking forward, bring your arms to the center and in one more time, breathing in. Exhale, arms forward, send them out towards the sides, lifting your gaze, allowing yourself to lift that spine. Remember that slinky, that space you just found, just lifting up and away from the lower lumbar spine, and then bring your arms back to the center and ease them in by your sides. Gorgeous, well done. Okay, turn the palms just down for me. So palms are facing down. Again, as you are, if you wish to stand at any point in between these pieces, then please go ahead. Just a challenge for our pelvic stability and hip stability as well. Breathing in, exhale down, we're going to send the palms away behind us and reach to your heels or possibly back towards the back corners of the room or mat, and then bring your arms back to center, to front. Breathing in, elbows stay back, and then send your arms away. Reach through those fingers, through every digit of the fingers, through the wrist, through the elbow, from the shoulder joint. Breathing in. Now again, thinking about pulling that lovely lower rib cage down towards the pelvis, so we're not arching. We're not in back extension. You're perfectly stacked. Ribs underneath your shoulders, ribs over your hips. Last time, and we're going to hold these hands back behind us. So pausing here. When our hands are behind, we're now going to take a breath in and look to the left. Beg your pardon. And look to the right. Bring your gaze center and fingers come forwards to the front with the palms down. Breath in. Exhale, send your arms behind and pause. Looking now to the right and to the left, and come back to center, palms forward. One more time either way. Breathing in and looking to the left as your hands stay behind, reaching towards the floor behind you. Fingers come forwards. Last time, this time we're leading with the right, trying to start each time with a different side, but it's not too critical. And fingers come forwards and pause here. Okay. Make a shape with your hands for me, like your fingers are best friends and your thumbs are just overlaying each other, crossing over each other. And go put those hands on the top of your head, like you're like making a little nest for a bird to land on. Okay, so I like to think of this as a bit of a basketball slam dunk. Okay, so your hands are going as far as you feel comfortable. Now that might be just towards the forehead area. It might be just the top of the head. You might even be able to reach behind towards the crown. Again, the ribs are staying low. We're going to breathe in and imagine now that as a basketball player, you're going to just send that basketball up and over, and imagine yourself getting a hole in that basket with getting the ball in the basket. Bring the hands back towards the head, breathing in, exhale and forwards. Now it's not a fast move, it's nice and slow. Breathing in, each time perhaps noticing that you can drop the hands slightly lower and behind the back of your head. Clasping those hands, those thumbs, to keep your elbows nice and close towards the back of your side of your head if you can, and indeed those fingers, if you can, as neighbours. Okay, so you've not got to cross over, creating one dominant side or the other. The fingers are still neighbours. Breathing in, exhale, send those arms slightly forwards of the forehead. Last time. And pause with the arms above the head, guys. So pausing here. Can you lower your left arm for me, please, towards your side or your waist or the floor, and reach over now towards that left side with a slight lateral flexion. Now, first things first, I'd like you to do is turn your palm as much as you can towards the sky. Look up now towards that palm and arm that's above your head. Lower the hand towards the top of your head, just as you did a moment ago. We're going to slam dunk with a single hand. Breathing in, exhale, send that hand away. Come back and pop the knuckles on the head with a breath in. Exhale, send the arm away. We've just got 4 more. Looking up towards that upper arm. Tummy nice and tight, core nice and strong. We've got last 2. Exhale, last 1. And then leave your hand towards the sky, just lifting your other arm slightly up the leg and draw it to the ceiling and meeting your first arm. Well done. Now right arm comes back down, a gentle lateral flexion to the right, tummy in, pelvic floor strong. Our left hand now, palm facing towards the sky. Look up towards your left arm, find control through the core. Lift the knuckles, head towards the top of your head. Breathing in and exhale as you send your palm away and just send that slam dunk up and over. Breathe in, exhale. And we've got 4 more. Breathe in, exhale, core nice and strong, pelvic floor coming up as you push that hand away. Palm to the side of you. Last 2. Gorgeous, well done. Last 1. And then pausing the arm towards the ceiling, gently bring your right arm up and to the side, arms towards the ceiling. Breathe in, Grow nice and tall, lift through the whole of the abdomen and reach those arms round, 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 round. Well done. Okay, gorgeous. We're going to take ourselves straight down into supine lying. So bottoms on the mat, feet on the mat, knees up like mountains. And I want you to cast your mind back to some neutral spine work we've done previously. Neutral spine being where you've got that natural S bend in your lower back. Okay, so you've got a bit of a space. Perhaps we've thought about this being a Malteser, a place for a little Malteser to sit under the lower spine where it stays nicely protected. And I don't want you to crunch down into it at all as we do our slightly modified series of 5 pieces using neutral spine this morning. Okay, if you know you struggle in neutral spine, if you feel like you've got any back niggles, you're more than welcome to slide a small towel or cushion under your lower back as just a bit of support. So you can maintain neutral, but it doesn't mean you're hanging out in space. Okay, so that is totally up to you. Alrighty, so in neutral spine, you should feel like the pelvis is nice and flat. You've got your hip bones in line or parallel with your, in the same plane as your pubic bone here. Okay. Alrighty, starting off then, we're going to just gently bring our right knee into the chest and just go ahead and hold behind the right knee. Perhaps it won't even get that far. You might just have to hold behind the right thigh. That is fine. Whatever you need to do, not to dump onto that Malteser. So have a little check if that Malteser is still intact. Okay, we're going to just hold onto that knee and let the other leg extend down along and away along the mat. Far too close to the front. And just pause and reach that leg along the mat. Okay, you're still in neutral. If you need to just do a tip and tilt to check you've still got that space in the back, go ahead. Okay, bring your left leg now just into a bent position. Place your right leg down. Draw your left knee into your chest again. Go ahead and see how much you can reach behind that leg without dumping into the lower spine. And then the right leg also reaches along whilst you're still trying to keep it nice and safe with a little space in the lower back there. Okay, bring that left leg in. Okay, place the right leg down. Bring the right leg in towards your chest. And now we're going to just take the left leg away and hover it off the floor slightly. Okay, so you're really just thinking about the head staying down, neck and shoulders staying down, but the tummy is pulling in really tight. Now we're having the head, neck, and stay down for the whole time whilst you're in neutral. So I want you to breathe in, tummy in, Malteser nice and intact, and then gently switch sides. This is a slow piece for us this morning. Breathe in, exhale, and switch. Think about that stacking of the body. You've got your neutral spine, so you've got a perfectly flat front of that pelvis. You've got your ribs pulling down like they're shunting on perfectly to meet this pelvis. There's no tip or tilt or lift of the front the front ribs. You've got your shoulders settled, shoulder blades down on the floor, and this is a really slow piece. If you want to put the foot on the floor in between, you're more than welcome. How are our Maltesers doing? Well done. Last 2, last 1, and bring both knees in. Place one foot down on the other. Try and maintain neutral if you can, and hands down by your sides. In this neutral position, I'd like you to bring your left knee in towards you, a little bit perhaps closer than tabletop, and the right knee in as well, and glue these guys together. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky. We're going to work in leg extension. So your legs are going to not necessarily be in tabletop. Your belly is pulling in, but you are in neutral. And what I'd like you to do is just go from this slightly knee into your pelvis, chest position, to an extended leg position out towards the wall or the room behind the mat behind, at the end of you. Now, you won't get very low. In fact, I'd rather you almost think about sending these feet towards the ceiling in your mind's eye than sending them towards the end of the mat. Let's change that visual, just slightly lifting the legs high. Okay, because that way you're not going to put so much pressure on the lower back. All right, now, of course, if you want to modify, you can just work on single leg only, just one at a time. Okay, and it's a concentration and that Malteser safety that's paramount for a moment. Okay, and with every lift of 1 or 2 limbs, you're exhaling and pulling the belly in, but you're not pushing the spine down. Last 2. And this is our final one for our double leg stretch. Reach and stretch and place both feet down on the floor. Well done. Okay, so let's just give that lower back a little bit of reprieve, or the hip flexors, I should say, some reprieve here with the feet just on the floor. Hands come to behind the back of the head. Okay. So in neutral spine, again, we're going to just investigate how much mobility we can get using our obliques, these diagonal muscles, okay, that run through across the body. Multiple layers, okay, to help with our rotation of the spine, okay, that twisting like a corkscrew motion. So I want you to think about finding that neutral spine and really bring the pelvic floor in as well. Get those guys pulling up like they're a stopper underneath you, under that pelvis. Okay, in neutral, let's breathe in and exhale. Plant those feet on the ground and just lift your right shoulder blade slightly off the mat and look over to the left. Come back to center. Staying perfectly intact over that little Malteser. Lift the left shoulder blade, look over towards the right, and back to center. Now, you're finding probably that it's not such a big lift as ordinarily. We're not looking to pull that elbow across. It's a shoulder blade peel. And I want you to think a little bit about the opposite bottom cheek or hip. As you head to the left, press the right hip down. As you lift and look to the right, press the left hip down. So if I could balance a little tea tray across your kneecaps right now, the top of those knees, it would be trying to stay as stable as possible. There'd be no wiggling of the legs in the opposite direction, no movement through the hips, or no corresponding movement through the hips, because the pelvis is really stable and you're working through the waist. Okay, last two, one either side. Keeping those knees just gently equidistant, and then bring yourself back through to center, down, down, down. Okay, wonderful. All righty, so I'm going to ask you now just to pop your hands underneath your bottom, okay? All righty, so at this point here, we're going to have a little bit more imprint. So I'd like you to gently allow the spine to just have a little tiny rest by popping down into the mat, okay? So your hands are under your bottom cheeks, the lower part of your bottom cheeks, and just allow that lower lumbar spine just to push into the mat. So just a little stretch, literally the tiniest little stretch off for your spine, okay? And now send your pubic bone away as if you're rolling and pressing those sit bones right into those fingers and making a slightly bigger arch in the lower spine, not too aggressively. And then one more time, gently pushing your lower spine into the mat by pulling your bottom cheeks towards the thumbs direction. And now send your bottom cheeks towards your fingers and the end of the mat. Press perhaps into your forefingers and make an extra space in that lower back. And then find your neutral, so that halfway is between the two. Well done. All righty. Finding the neutral, pop your hands across your chest, draw your right knee into your chest and lift your right leg towards the sky. We're going to take this into single leg lowers. I'd like to flex your foot so you've got a foot that's high five in the ceiling. Pull down with the heel, and you're still, when you're hovering above the mat, pulling your toes towards your nose, okay? Now go into point and lift your leg towards the ceiling. Just maintain that neutral. Okay, down with the heel pull and up in point. Just one more time, down with the heel pull and up in point. Placing that foot back down, maintaining neutral. Left knee into your chest and leg towards the towards the ceiling, and in flexion of the ankle, dorsiflexion. Pull down with the heel. Stretch the back of the leg. Feel that thigh bone really pulling out that socket, and that should almost encourage you or feel like you're lengthening even more through the space of the spine, no dumping into the Malteser. Go into point, lift the leg to the ceiling, but use this hip flexor not through the back, but through the hip flexor. Into flexion at the ankle, pull down with the heel. Nice and steady and calm here in your middle, up in point. We've only got one more. Okay, so coming up in point, that's really tricky not to squash that Malteser. This is our last one, coming up, 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 up. And place that foot back down. Okay, wonderful. Pop your hands now by your side of your buttocks, just gently popping your thumbs under the fleshy part of your bottom either side. Okay, bring your right knee into your chest and your right leg towards the sky. Left foot, you could either send that foot slightly further away, or you can extend that leg all the way out along the floor. As soon as actually you do extend that leg along the back, you'll find you're naturally got your S-shaped back. Okay, it's actually quite hard to dump into the lower spine when you've got your leg extended. So maybe have a go, see how you feel for this piece today. If it's uncomfortable, bend the leg slightly. Okay, single leg circles, your choice of sides. We're going to start off across the midline of the body, out towards the end of the mat or leg, out towards the outside of your body, and up towards your nose, breathing in. Exhale, let's sweep around. We're going to do 3 more here, so 5 on either side, just noticing perhaps that you're concentrating more on the thigh bone in the hip socket than that lower back pushing into the back. Reverse direction when you're ready, out towards the side of you, end of the mat and to your nose. Last 4. And 3. Last 2. And last 1. Bend that leg, pop it back on the mat, lifting now your right knee into your chest and towards the sky. Again, choose where you want your, so I beg your pardon, your left knee into your chest into the sky. Your right leg, I should say, is either slightly extended away to a soft knee position or out and along the mat in extension. Okay, reaching both legs away, choosing where you want to be. And we're going to start off across the midline again, not too big a circle, just working within your range, around, down, and up. Around the midline, down, out to the side, and up. We're going to do 3 more. Larger circles if you can, if it's available to you and you don't feel like your pelvis is just rocking from side to side to get the circle big. Okay, this has to come from the hip flexor. Sorry, not the hip flexor, the hip joint. And back to your start position. Breathe in, reset, still in neutral if you can. Away we go for 5. For 4. Try and breathe in to start each circle with its legs by your nose. Last 2. And final 1. And bring that leg onto the mat. Joining it with your right leg. Well done. Popping those knees over to the side now. We're going to bring ourselves into sitting. Okay, so we're going to sit with our feet flexed, so our toes are towards the ceiling. Now, if you have any struggles with your lower back or you would like to pop yourself up onto a cushion, please go ahead right now and pop a cushion underneath you, or a block if you happen to have a block nearby. Equally, we can have our knees slightly bent for this whole piece, okay, because we are going to be doing a little bit of work through that lumbar spine. And if you're sitting and your hamstrings are tight and it's uncomfortable, please don't just plow on. Bend those knees, that is no problem. Okay, so we're going to imagine that you've got your hands around a pole in front of you. Okay, so just a short, small pole. So your arms are still roughly hip width apart, shoulder width apart, maybe a tad wider. Okay, so from here, we're going to imagine ourselves sitting nice and tall and lift the double arms towards the ceiling. So you've got your double arm float. The pole is still between those hands, and then back down. Breathing in, exhale as you lift the hands. So this might already be saying to you that you're not comfortable, in which case you might want to modify and bend the knees. You might want to fish around for that cushion. Make those choices early on. Okay. And the next time we go to the ceiling, we're going to pause. Okay. So let's just turn now. We're going to rotate, not up from the hips, but from the rib cage and shoulder girdle. So let's go ahead and rotate towards the right. So you're looking out towards the right side of there, and you've got that slight twisting through the spine. Now from here, we're going to gently look down towards the mat, towards the knees, gently letting the arms come with you. Come back up to look towards the right and bring yourself to center. 3 more times to the right. Looking to the right, breathing in. Exhale, just gently bringing those down towards the mat, and arms follow as they respond with the curve of the spine. 2 more to the right, breathing in. Rotation to the right, gentle flexion forwards, just gently, not a deep flexion. And last time, breathing in. And rotation and flexion, gently pulling that belly into spine and bring yourself to center. Release the arms down for a moment, give the legs and arms a bit of a wriggle. We're going to head towards the left now. Okay, so again, grabbing hold of that pole, lifting the arms, but still pull the rib cage and shoulder blades down. Okay, breathing in and a gentle rotation towards the left. Okay, feeling that you're nice and steady, then over we go with nose towards the knees. Now, not too deep to begin with. Please be tentative. Okay, as you come back through to center, breathing in. Lift and exhale forwards into flexion. Breathe in as you lift your arms to the ceiling. And exhale to center. Breathe in, grow 2 more times. Exhale, flexion. And final time, guys. And forwards with flexion. And then gently bring your arms down by your sides. Bend your knees so your feet come flat onto the floor and give your legs a hug. Okay, so just a gentle hug, nothing too deep at this particular point. Okay, we are going to do a small development from that. So we've worked towards the right front corner of the mat or room. We've worked to the left front corner of the mat or room. We're now going to do a small amount of work heading towards the back corners of the mat behind us or room. So again, placing your feet out towards the end and bend the knees if you wish, okay, or pop yourself onto your cushion. Hands holding the bar towards the front, and I'd like you to take yourself into your double arm float. Off we go to the double arm float. All right, so we're all facing our toes currently. I'd like you now to face towards your right foot and corner of the room. So rotation happens whilst we're sat high, okay? Looking towards that right elbow, looking towards that right arm. We're now going to head out towards that right back corner of the mat. Okay, so just a small movement towards the right back corner of the mat diagonally. Come back to center and twist towards your toes. 3 more that same side. Rotate to the right, looking just slightly towards your right elbow, so that aids you with your direction of travel. A small move, as if that pole, if it carried on, would head down to that back corner of the mat, and then bring yourself to center. Arms stay straight though, rotation first, still lifting long in the spine. So we're not lean, we're not curving, we're not C-curving into this. It's a gentle lean, okay? And this is our last time, breathing in. Rotation, no, you don't have to get very far, of course. It can just be a very small distance, and then come back through to center, release the arms back down. Modify legs if you need to. Arms come to the side, to the ceiling, breathe in. Let's just keep on going, and rotation to the left. Look slightly to the left for your direction of travel, and over we go to that back corner, opening out gently from the spine, looking towards your toes. 3 more. If you're after your breathing pattern here, guys, we're breathing in to begin, growing tall, and then we're rotation and exhale as we head back, breathing in to begin. Breathe in and rotation. Breathe in and back. And we have 1 more. Breathe in and rotation and back. And then to center, gorgeous. Release those arms back down. Well done. Okay, so what I'd like you to do just here is take your knees. We're going to definitely bend them up towards the ceiling. Okay, feet are flat on the floor, so we're just going to hold on to the supine sitting position, and arms are tucked in 1 more time by our sides. What I'd like you to do now is just gently reach your right leg forward, and as you reach that right leg and point, I would like you to just send your hands forward and just gently ease back. Bring yourself to sitting, breathing in, and exhale, sliding back. Let's really work the core. Exhale, single leg slide, elbows come back in by your sides, and slide. And last 2. And last 1. Bring yourself to sit and pop your hands behind you. Okay, weight off the hip flexors. Now think for us all this week, we're going to have our fingertips facing towards the outside edge of your mat, and wide as well, about the width of the mat too. Shoulder blades, roll them back and down, and feel that when you've got those shoulder blades fired up and the shoulders are pulling down and away from your ears, you've kind of taken off quite a lot of weight. You're sharing a lot of weight off this touch point of your bottom on the mat. Okay, so it's kind of you've transitioned the power of force into the palms of the hands. Okay, pressing perhaps a little bit into the little finger, so you've got not necessarily allowing your thumbs to take control. Little fingers are nice and strong, and the outside edge of your hand. Breathe in, looking up towards the ceiling, lifting the bottom cheeks towards the sky, pushing the hips up and then back down, breathing in. Exhale. Now I want you to really think about this piece more about the shoulder blades pulling down and shoulders staying away from the ears, kind of than anything else this week. Okay, so really thinking of that, working from the shoulders, opening out the chest, exhaling as you lift, keeping those knees roughly speaking hip width apart. Of course, you don't need to lift very high. Okay, that might be that you can't get this high, you just want to do a small bottom float off the floor, that's fine, not a problem. Last 2. And last 1, lift up, push the heart space through those shoulders, and then the bottom gently comes back down. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to roll onto our tummies and give these old shoulders a complete and utter rest for the moment. All right, so hands are going to be just resting currently in front of us. I want you to just put one hand on top of the other. We're going to do a modified side single leg kick. So your legs are together. They're kind of neighbors, they're not glued together, and shoulder blades are pulling back and down. We've just warmed those up nicely. Okay, so as I say, our legs are nicely together. The belly is slightly in from the mat, and you're still thinking about yourself pulling from the crown of the head, so you've got space in that lumbar spine, yes? Okay, so breathing in for me. Tummy comes in as you start to exhale. I just want you to lift one leg off the mat, so it's really long and straight and reaching out towards the end of the mat there. And switch sides. Breathing in, single straight leg lift. Imagine a little rope as you lift that leg is pulling the leg towards the end of the mat, and feel that thigh bone having a nice stretch away from the hip socket. But at the same time, we're nicely activating our glutes. As you exhale and lift, you're bringing that belly button in. So we're trying to protect the lower spine. Okay, so we're not creating a big deep arch in the lower spine there. Well done. Breathing in, exhale, lift. Every time you lift, you're still pulling the crown of the head forward. You're still trying to think about those shoulder blades, gently easing the ribs down, shoulder blades down, keeping everything in check, just like if you were working on your neutral position on your fronts. Last one, and pause there. Legs are down. Okay, so we're going to work into our double leg lengthening. With the lengthening of both legs at the same time, you may well find that your feet on the tops of your feet start to lift almost by themselves because you've bulked up the quad muscle in contraction, okay? So just have a go at that for me. Breathe in, exhale, squeeze the glutes, lengthen the legs, and really think about making your thigh muscles, the front of those thighs, as tough and as strong and as contracted as you can, and then back down. So breathe in, exhale, and double leg lengthening. So I'm not making you go into a lift. This is more just a lengthen with the double legs. Breathing in, exhale, double legs lengthening, and a slight response lift. And this next time they lengthen and lift, I want you to pause there. Feel now that stretch from the toes to the crown of the head. The tummy is in, the neck is long. And take your right foot and pulse it twice into your bottom, and then place it back down in hover, not on the mat. Breathe in, exhale, left foot pulse in for 2, and down. Sorry, left, heel to bum. Breathe in, exhale, pointing the foot unless it's feeling like it's cramping. Lengthen the leg long as you come along the mat. Stretch the hamstring, and then when you're bringing the heel in, stretch the quads. Breathe in, lengthen the muscle, and pulse, pulse for 2. Breathe in, exhale, pulse, pulse. We're going to do 2 more either side. So this is your right for penultimate time, and left, and last time on the right. Pulse, pulse. Breathe in, grow long, pulse, pulse, and release everything back down onto the mat. Gorgeous, well done. Okay, so from here we're going to head immediately into our diamond press. So give your legs a wiggle if we need to turn off that lower back. Shoulder blades are back and down. Lift to the point where you need to lift your elbows up and move them slightly towards the direction of your hips. That is fine. And think about that belly to spine. Neck is long, spine is long, shoulder blades are down. From here, we're going to breathe in and very gently lift your forehead off the mat. And again, still pull yourself forward. You might find you've got even more ability to pull forwards and lengthen the spine with this forehead off the hands. That might be just holding you back. Breathe in, exhale, and forehead float. Pull down those shoulder blades. Feel the length of the spine, and back down. We've got 2 more. Breathing in, just a forehead float and a pull forwards. And last time, breathe in, exhale, and pull forwards, pausing up when we can. Okay, regroup. We're all up and lifted. Nice. Okay, from here, we then start with our breath. And as you exhale, lift your gaze, perhaps put a bit more press into those arms, and start to feel a bit of a pull around about the belly button area, okay, the front of that lower abdomen. Look down towards the mat, lowering the forehead onto your hands with a breath in. Exhale, forehead float, continue the lift, and look forwards and pull and down. So we're working a bit of repeated extension here, and this might be more than enough for you this morning to just gently get that gentle back extension, making sure we've talked about that soft tissue between the vertebrae, the intervertebral disc, just having a gentle ease back into alignment. Now, you may find it's available to you to lift the elbows. I don't want to hold anyone back. So if you feel like you can, head up into your arm extension and you're still feeling long and spacious in that lower back, then you're more than welcome to continue by lifting up a level. For both variations now, I want you to find your maximum range. So that might be just with your head lifted and looking towards the end of the mat. That might, or the other side of the room, that might be with your arms extended. I'm going to show you a version with the elbows down for the moment. We're going to breathe in, and as we do so, exhale and just send one arm forwards. And breathe in, exhale and switch. Now you'll feel there's a big, strong set of messages going to the opposite lower back. So if it feels uncomfortable, you might just want to slide your hand forwards, or you might want to not do this if it's not feeling comfortable for you this morning. If you're in your lovely arms extended position, again, just see how you feel. You might find that the back extension is fine, but you might just want to take it into a gentle slide forwards of hand after hand. And this last one, we're going to then bring ourselves back down onto the mat. If you've got your elbows to your sides, then place them then place them by your sides and bring yourselves back down to the mat and pause. A bit of a wiggle jiggle with the legs to the side, with the hips to the side for me. Okay, please go ahead and lift your right foot towards the ceiling. So you've bent at the knee to 90 degrees. Okay, so you've just lifted one leg up towards the sky. Okay. From here, we're going to just allow that right leg to head out towards the right-hand side of you. Now, it won't get very far, okay? So you're kind of creating almost a little bit of a mini arc, and then send your right foot towards the left side. So just kind of swinging it in parallel to the knee joints from the right to the left. And with that, we're just getting a corresponding twist through that hip joint. Okay, through that thigh bone within the hip, we're just heading from left to right. Like a windscreen wiper, just easing the leg from side to side. Trying to reduce any tension through the shoulders. No great need to pull the belly to spine at this point. Let it have a bit of a rest. And then bring that leg back to center, placing it back down. Taking the left leg now, bending at the knee. Relaxed at the ankle, no particular flexion needed. I'm going to take the leg now out towards the side to begin with, so to the left side. And then across the knee joint and the body and to the right. Okay, from side to side, windscreen wiper, this leg. You can keep the hips from coming with you too much. So again, reminding yourself this is working obviously from the hip joint, or just trying to slightly stretching through the hip joint here. As we move from side to side. And one more time in each direction. Well done. And then gently bring your leg back down. Okay. So from here, we're going to just, with a small transition rest off there, we're going to add on for our diamond press. We have just done the diamond press where we've come into our comfortable range of movement. So whether you were up towards you with your elbows down or up towards the straight arm position, I don't mind which. What I'm going to ask you to do now is once you've come into your elevated position, I would like you to pause. So let's go ahead and do this together. Breathe in, exhale, belly to spine, shoulder blades down, lift and pause to your position of comfort. Now really think about that belly pulling in. Really feel for me the front of the pelvis and hips are indented in the mat. Okay, so everything's pulling into that lower spine and you're still nice and long through the whole of the spine and neck. And your left arm now I'd like you to extend forwards. And now I want you to take the palm down and sweep it round towards the outside of your leg. Sweep that arm back to the center and 2 more times. Around towards the side and to the center of the mat in the front. Arm stays straight for the last one. And back to center. And put your hands in the front of you, hand on hand, reset. Belly in, shoulders back. Nice and strong. Right arm forward. Slide your right arm towards your right thigh. If you're in your arm extension, of course, you can have your arm forwards. You can be sliding or you can be slicing through air. Okay. We've got one more. Okay, so this is your last on your right side. I'm showing you my left, but it's my right side or your right side you're working. Pop your hands stacked on each other. If your elbows aren't down, bring them down gently and peel your spine back down, down, down. Wonderful. Okay. Hands now just gently by your shoulders. Okay, transition your forehead to the mat. Bring your feet together, tuck your toes under. Use your shoulder blades, use your core, even your pelvic floors to support you as you bring yourself into 4-point kneeling. Okay, in 4-point kneeling here. I'd like you to take your left hand towards the left edge of the mat and the right hand on top of the left hand. Okay, so everything's on the left. Draw your knees and feet together underneath you and twist your feet, now both feet towards the left edge of the mat, and gently ease back into a child's pose, stretching down the right hand side of the body. Breathe in. One more breath, please. Bring your shoulders up over your wrists, swing your feet to the center of the mat. Take your right hand right to the right hand side of the mat and left hand on top of the right hand. Knees and feet should be centered down the middle of the mat. Swing your feet to the right side of the mat now, and again, heading back into child's pose. Nice and gently easing the bottom towards the direction of your heels. Now, you might not get very far, so it might just be gently a lean in that direction. If you don't feel like this is comfortable, you can just modify by straightening up the feet, but the hands can still be over to the side. Okay, so you've still got a mild stretch down the left side of the body. Okay, so don't forget that's always an option. Wonderful. Breathing in one more time. And then gently bring your shoulders back over your wrists, straightening up the legs and feet back into center. Okay, so we're going to swirl around one more time into sitting. Our legs are wide, okay, so they're about, roughly speaking, the width of the mat. They might be slightly higher. Again, if you've got that cushion around you, or a block, or a small towel, or you can either double up your mat, you can sit a little bit higher by elevating your bottom on one of those methods, okay? Alternatively, if you're still feeling a little bit tight or uncomfortable on the lower back and your legs, bending the knees slightly is another option for us, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is twist her now. You can see me, but you can continue facing the direction you are. That is fine. Now, what I'd like you to do is take your right arm for me and just hold around your waist, okay? So you've got your fingers really underneath the rib cage and above your hip bone there on the fleshy part of the waist, your obliques. Okay, go ahead and lift your left hand towards the sky. So you've created almost like a semi-frame for your face, okay? Just a half frame. And what I want you to think is be aware of this right forearm. We're going to head into our spine stretch forward by almost diving over this forearm. I want you to see if you can feel the feedback from your tummy in that arm area as you head forward. So breathe in for me. As I say, knees bent or straight, breathing in, exhale, and just bringing that nose down towards the knees. You're diving over that forearm on the right and then lift up to the sky with a breath in. And exhale forwards, diving over that forearm. Always trying to think about that belly button, gently pulling in and away from the forearm as you dive forward. Breathe in, exhale. And pause this time in your sitting position. From here, we are going to very gently hinge back, okay? So I'd like to breathe in, grow tall as if your crown of the head is trying to meet the palm of your left hand here. As you hinge back, I'm going to just ask you to open out your right arm to the side. And then the arm comes forward. And we'll do two more. Breathing in. Exhale, hinge back. Pull that belly in, pull in the pelvic floors. We're not seat curving, you're hinging, just so that you can see. Breathing in. Exhale, hinging back, and pause there. Let's go ahead and add the two things in together. Breathe in and forwards for your forward fold, spine stretch. Lift to the ceiling, breathing in. Exhale, hinge and arm opening to the side. Come back to center, breathe in. Two more. Forwards, inflection, and up. Grow tall, breathe in, exhale, hinge. And pause, switching arms. So your left arm now is around the belly and your right arm is up and just framing that lovely face. Okay, so again, feeling that you've created that nice space through the abdomen here. You've got this feeling and a response in the lower arm around the belly. Breathing in, exhale, lift up and away from that forearm. Pull that belly to spine, even thinking about pulling perhaps that forearm or pressing that forearm in towards your spine for extra squeeze of the juice. Breathing in, exhale, bending forwards over that forearm on the left there. Breathing in and exhale forwards. And pausing here. In readiness for hinge, grow nice and tall, 3 repetitions as we take ourselves back in hinge, opening that left arm to the side, opening up the chest, come back in to sitting, breathe in, exhale, hinging, and open one arm to the side. And sit nice and tall, last time, and hinge, arm to the side, and to center, Pausing here, adding in, breathe in, forwards over your spine, stretch forwards. As you come up, breathe in, exhale, hinging back, arm open to the side. Bring yourself to center and breathing in. Exhale forwards and lift and to side. Well done. Last time forwards, diving over that left arm, hugging through the belly. And final time, breathing in. Exhale, hinge, opening to T or one arm T. And then easing the arm down, that right arm resting. Gorgeous. Bring those legs in. Okay, and we're going to take ourselves into a side lying position. We are with our legs bent, but our feet are together and knees are towards the ceiling. Towards our side, but one top knee, the back knee is towards the ceiling. You've got your forearm position, all right, that you're familiar with. So your elbow is underneath the shoulder. And double check, of course, your positioning. You're not looking down towards the hand for the moment. You're imagining your elbow is directly under your shoulder. And the top shoulder, if you can, as much as you can, isn't sort of slumped down here. It's almost as if you've got that dot up towards the sky and through that top arm, okay? In fact, let's all go ahead and do that. Let's lift that top arm to javelin. Demonstration has shown me that works. Okay, so you've got that arm towards the ceiling. You're trying to think about drawing that straight line from the top hand here through the shoulder, and then you can relax your hand back onto your hip. Okay, try not to lose that space you've got in the shoulder and the ear and the rib cage lift. Now, we're going to be thinking about just our clam piece. So to begin with, I would like you to think about those knees coming towards each other and then just lifting towards the ceiling. Okay, so you breathe in when the knees come forwards and exhale as you lift. And breathing in and exhale. Well done. All righty. So we're working here that external rotation of the thigh bone, but more importantly around the glute med as well, and even around the outside of that sort of knee joint, okay, that point of insertion around the knee joint. Breathing in, exhale, lift. And we are going to add on our arc arm, okay? So pausing here with your knee towards the ceiling, taking our left hand palm face forwards. I'll put my teeth in. Check you've got that lovely lift still from the upper body if you need to. Okay, this is going to be your javelin recheck. Hands towards the side. Breathe in and exhale. Breathe in, knees together. Exhale as you take your arm overhead and lift the knee towards the sky. Bringing the hand down with the breath in. And exhale as you lift, the knee rises, the arm goes overhead. Well done. Breathing in. And the hands down. Exhale over into arc. Lift that rib cage a little tiny bit more. Last two. And final one. Now, we are going to do one more set here. So pause for a second. If you need to slump slightly off that shoulder or bring yourself off for a moment, just take a second here while I show you the quick variation, which is slightly higher. If you have any shoulder issues, you might not like the hip raise to add on. So you can just do a second set, either with just your clam or with the clam and arc, okay? If you feel like you're ready to bring yourself into a hip raise, we're going to be now actually starting with our legs together. And as we come up, we are going to lift and open, lift our buttocks and open the knees at the same time. Okay, so the knee on the bottom, leg stays down, but you'll lift your hips so your bottom elevates slightly off the floor, opening into clam, and there's your open knees and arc. Okay, so you choose. All right, so when you're ready, some of you started, that's fine. We can get going, raring to go. Breathe in, exhale, lifting your bottom cheek, open into arc, standing into that back foot, okay, which should be on the mat. Breathing in, exhale, lift and arc. And together, all bottom stays down on terra firma, no problem. Last one. And pause in there. Gorgeous, well done. Just gently easing yourself up and round, swinging those legs towards the other side, so towards the right for me. If you're joining in, then you've got your forearm down. And let's go ahead and just find that leg open position to begin with. Elbow underneath shoulder, just double up our check with the javelin arm, thinking if you've got yourself aligned, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, hand. Releasing that hand back down to begin with. Okay, checking where our hips are, where our knees come together with a breath in. Exhale as you open that knee to the sky. Now, just as if you were doing side lying, and I get you to make sure that your knee tracks up and down a ruler, not quite the same here, but you're going to think about not rolling back to get the lift of this top leg. Okay, so you're just working on keeping this top hip perfectly still. Okay, looking out to the horizon, neck is long, the shoulders are still stacked, the ribs are still lifted and active through the core there, through the waist. We've got 2 more. And last one. Of course, if you are struggling, please do take yourself down into a side lying arm with your arm out, okay? And adding in now, we've got our arc. So your arm is going to be your left, so your right arm is facing forwards, palm is towards the front, fingertips together, knees come down, breathing in, exhale, and lift now arm over into arc, top knee lifting into clam. Bring the hand back down, breathe in, grow through the spine, exhale, lift that top waist and ribs the sky. Breathing in and exhale. Reach that arm over, get that stretch, find space in the arm joint. Sometimes we kind of neglect feeling like we've actually really worked this movement in the arm because it just kind of joins in. Last 2. Top hip still forward, still don't roll it back. Last one, that's better, well done. And then pausing here, adding in the hip lift if you wish, all right? Otherwise, one more set when you're ready. And again, this can be done lying down off the shoulder if you're struggling. Breathe in, exhale, lifting your bottom as the legs open and the arm goes over into arc, and then come back down. Breathe in. Now, trying to be mindful of lifting down the middle of that mat, imagining your hips and your shoulders and your head are in the middle of 2 panes of glass, like double glazing. Okay, so I'm trying to not get you to lift and then roll forwards or push your hips forward. You're going up, directly up, lifting to the sky. And last one, breathing in, exhale. Well done. And down, gorgeous, all righty. From here, we're going to take ourselves into actual sidelines. If you aren't down on your arm already, go ahead and slide yourself down and onto the arm, okay? So here we are, a sideline. All righty, now the hand can be down or it can be supported if your neck feels, if it's more comfortable here, or go ahead and pop a cushion between your ear and your shoulder. Do feel you can modify your arm position completely. Alrighty, so our legs are nice and long, so you know, down the middle of the mat. I'd like you to bend your lower leg to 90 so that you've just got your foot or thereabouts out to the back of you as the stabilizer. Knees are on knees still, so you've not lost the pelvis, so the hip stacked position here. Hand is like a very gentle kickstand, okay? Try not to dump down in it. It's really very light touch towards the front of us, and go ahead and lift that leg towards the side. Feeling that you're working down the outside edge of the bottom, okay? So many times you have to modify because we actually have finding ourselves rolled onto the bottom or indeed our falling forwards with the hip. Think about being nicely stacked. Lower the leg, breathing in, exhale as you lift. And exhale. Take time this week perhaps to find that end of range, okay? Just slowly building up to it if needs be. So trying to think about perhaps lifting a little bit higher than just hip height as you exhale, lift and lengthen. Long leg reaching and lots of mobilizing. So let's reach, reach, reach. Last 2. And last 1, pausing here. Okay, bringing your right knee now in towards your chest, drawing that knee in towards your chest. Well done. I think I should be my left knee. I beg your pardon, left knee. From here, now we're going to then extend your foot towards the front and then swing that leg behind you and then bring your heel to your bottom. From here, bring your knee to your chest into bicycle, forwards in extension and sweep that leg around the back corner of that mat. That's when you get the hip flexor stretch. Now bring the heel towards your bottom and sweep forwards one more time, sweeping and to the back of the room. And swing your heel get your heel to your bottom and come knee into chest. Pausing knee into chest, hip height if you can, don't let that knee roll down. Now we're going to keep the bent leg, but send the knee towards the room behind you. Now extend the leg to the back corner and swing the leg forwards, knee into chest. In a bent position, send the knee behind you. Now straighten your leg for a reach and forward sweeping, knee to chest. Last time, send the knee behind you. Reach, 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 and forwards. Well done. Bring your knee in and just place it back down on the other leg. Okay, so extending your lower leg now towards the end of the mat, the top leg joining it. Okay, so we're going to work on our single leg circles here. So bring your top leg towards roughly hip height. Now we've worked a little bit on heading the leg to the back of the room, so let's just send it there to remind ourselves we are okay here. We're trying really hard not to roll the shoulders forward. Okay, so tummy's in tight, shoulder blades back, hips stacked. We know we can come forward. We've just done that in bicycle as well. Tummy's in tight. Bring the leg back in parallel. We also know we've headed up towards our top range, towards the ceiling. We're going to add those three in together. So if you can just join me with the leg towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead and start by heading towards the back range of your leg, out towards the back of the room or your mat, bottom working nicely there. Bring that leg forwards and sweep that leg towards the ceiling. Find those maximum range points that you had identified just a moment ago. We're working nice and slowly for a big leg circle. Well done. Control is what I'm after through the core, not speed, not repetitions, not wibbly wobbliness. Opposite direction when you're ready, send the leg behind you, swing and sweep up towards your maximum range. Again, noticing if you're calm through this torso. Well done. Last two. And final one. Well done. Bring that leg back down. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Gorgeous. I'm going to swing around to the other side. Okay, so easing your hands down towards the mat, swinging your legs round. And we are starting off down the middle of the mat. Again, choose your arm position. It can be extended or with a cushion underneath your ear or your head supporting your, your hand supporting your head. Check in that little position. Okay, very easy for us to get a bit twisted. You think, well, I got my hips, okay, that's fine. My shoulders are down here. Okay, so think about finding that stacked position. Hip on hip, gentle kickstand in front of the belly button, shoulder blades back and down, neck is long. Very tempting to look towards the floor, look out towards the horizon, and the upper back will tide itself up nicely in response. Okay, lower leg just sweeping slightly towards the back of the room, so you've got your supporting leg there. And when you're ready, breathing in and starting with the top leg lift towards the sky and down. Breathe in, exhale, and down. So you're still thinking of pretty much lifting with your ankle bone, okay? Just thinking about finding that end of range. Perhaps that sense of lengthening the leg first as if it's being pulled towards the end of the mat and then lift might allow you to just come a little bit out of the hip socket slightly more, okay, than ordinary. Also, that sense of a slight lift of the rib cage will help that too, so you're not dumping down into that lower rib area on the mat. Nice feather touch here. Well done. Last two. And final one. Gorgeous, well done. Bring that leg to hip height, draw your knee into your chest. Easing that knee roughly into hip height still here, so you're not dropping it down towards the floor. Extend your leg towards the front of the room and then swing that leg to the back corner of the room. Once you've got that reach and stretch, you're going to then bring the heel towards your bottom and at hip height, draw that knee forwards. Well done. And all the way to extension. Swing that leg behind you. Reach the back corner, not through the twist of your waist, but through the lengthening of your hip. Okay, let's bear that in mind this next time. As the leg goes behind, feel the stretch through the front of the hip, not because you've twisted and rotated the upper body, okay? Heel to bum, and pausing here, knee in your chest area. Breathe in and send the knee behind you, still bent with the heel towards your bottom. Yep, immediately got that hip flexor stretch. I can feel it now. Reach that leg and then extends even more, deepens that stretch even more, comes forward with the sweep. Heel to bum and knee behind you, extending the leg to the back corner of the mat. Breathing in and exhale, breathe in. Well done. Last one, sweeping the knee behind you and reach, and knee comes into your chest. Gorgeous. Placing that knee back down on the lower knee and extending both legs again one more time out towards the center of the far end of the mat, and you are lying on the center. Okay. So from here, we've worked one more time. We've ascertained that we know we've got a maximum range of lift towards the side. We know, so go ahead and find that maximum range here. We know we've got the maximum range behind us, so gently easing that leg to the back corner of the room. That's the maximum range here without us falling and being all twisted. Coming forwards, gently easing that leg forwards. Okay, that's your maximum range here. So come back to center, lift your leg towards the ceiling. Readiness for a single big leg circles. Taking the leg behind you now, find that back range. Sweeping the leg forwards, find the front range and lift the leg towards your side. Breathing in, exhale as you single leg circle. We've got three more. And final time towards the ceiling, pausing here, switching directions for 5. Feeling that might be a little bit more tricky, especially that lift from the glutes towards the back up towards your maximum range at the side. Okay, that's a tricky one. Not a movement we do very naturally in everyday life. And last 2. And final one. Well done, marvelous, gorgeous. Placing that leg down and by the lower leg, gorgeous. Bring your knees into your chest. Okay, so from here, guys, we're just going to place our hands underneath our shoulders, swinging our knees underneath us. Okay. I would like you to lift now. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Lift your right heel towards your right bottom. Take your right heel, swing it across to your left bottom cheek, knees. The knees are still down. Look over your left shoulder and see if you can just see your toes there. Breathe in. And bring your leg back to center, taking your left heel to your left bottom cheek. Switch it over now, the diagonal now. Heel is to the right bottom cheek. And look over your right shoulder and see if you can check out those toes over the right shoulder there. Okay, come back to center, repeating each side, or if you wish, you're more than welcome to extend the leg into a straight single leg, lifting to bottom height. And then just as you did with the wag the tail with a bent leg, it's that sense of looking over your shoulder and your leg is extended. So that's your progression, or you're doing one more set on either side with your knees on the mat. Okay, if you're with your leg extended, it's the left leg out now and to hip height, sweeping over to the right, look over your right shoulder. Gorgeous. Bring yourself back to center and then easing your bottom down towards your heels. Okay, for a gentle child's pose, just taking a moment. If you need to do any wrist rotations, please do here. Okay, that is up to you. And then we're going to bring ourselves into in readiness, really, for a downward dog or a V stretch. So we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to lift our bottom and our knees will elevate up towards the sky. The shoulder blades pulling back and down, head between the elbows. Gentle pedaling, please, of the heels. Okay, now when you come to a comfortable position with those feet, okay, so your heels not pressing too much down to the mat, we're also not on our tiptoes. I want you to have your knees bent and soften, and in soften position at the knees. We're going to pull our heads forward and just draw gently through into plank and hold for 5, for 4, drop the knees if you wish, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then back up into V stretch, pedaling the legs. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. So as I mentioned, if you want to drop the knees, if you're really straight away not comfortable in plank, pop those knees back down, but let everything else stay nice and calm and, well, in control, I should say. It's busy. It's very busy, not calm. Pausing here. Knees are soft. Breathing in. Bring yourself forward into plank. Then pausing for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Soften the knees, final time up into your V stretch, pedal the legs. As we're pedaling the legs, we're going to continue with that motion and walk our feet slightly forwards towards our hands, okay? And the head will swing now forwards between those hands. When you get to your feet, feel your feet are close enough and you're nice and balanced, shift that power into the soles of the feet. Tummy in, pelvic floor strong. If you need to walk your hands up your thighs, you're more than welcome. You can do a straight leg roll up if you wish. Any discomfort in the lower spine, just take your time and restack slowly, looking out towards the front of the room. Bring yourself to center, feet in parallel. Okay, so soften the knees for me slightly, find the bounciness at the knees, find the shaking of the arms, and just pausing for a few breaths. That's it, well done. Letting everything just mobilize back into its joint position and come back into standing. Breathe in, lifting your hands towards the ceiling, turn palms away, press the air down by your side. Pausing here with the fingers towards the floor, let your ear head towards your right shoulder. Breathe in and bring yourself back to center. Breathing in here, let your ear head towards your left shoulder. And come back to center, double arm float with a breath in, turn the palms away, press the air down by your sides, grow through the crown of the head and pause with the hands down by your sides, closing your eyes. Feel the weight slightly into the heels, with the shoulder blades pulling down slightly towards the pelvis. Feel your core nice and strong, for the pelvic floor just slightly active. 2 more breaths in as you exhale, restack, recenter. 1 more time. Exhale, open your eyes and we are done. Thank you very much. Please do take any other movement or stretch, the stretches that you feel would be comfortable for you. Just listen to your body. And I will hopefully see you again in the studio or in Zoom or by recording. Take care for now. Thanks. Bye-bye.